Yeah, well, this is just a drop-in, sponsored by the Crude. Midgets and up. They'll just do a scrimmage for the next 45 minutes once they do a little shooting drills to warm up here. I'm just trying a few things here for the stream coming up for the season. This should be in high definition, at least on one camera. This camera should be at 1080p. I had some connection problems at the beginning of the broadcast here, but it looks like we got a good solid stream of near 6,000 kilobits per second. Which should be adequate for our high definition broadcasting needs. That's the iPhone. That may still be at 1270 by 720. I need to get a different bit of camera software for that one. I'm using Wirecast Go, which gives me an unobstructed view, and I'm using another software driver to make the iPhone act like a webcam, and it just dumps directly into the computer. So, for instance, if I bring up this on-screen controls on the iPad or on the iPhone, they'll come across on the stream. So it literally just takes a screen dump of the iPhone. But I think it downscales it a bit. This one, of course, is a small Canon R800 camcorder. It's outputting at 1080p. Let's see if we can play with the focus a bit. My image quality on my computer monitor here does not look the best for that monitor, so I'm not sure if you're getting 1080p on that one. I'll check the stream later. Now the RMLL draft is coming up next Sunday, so February 10th. Not exactly sure of the timing on that. I think it's 1:30 in the afternoon. As soon as I find out, I'll make a note on the webpage or on the YouTube channel so you know when that broadcast is going to happen, because we will try and bring that to you live. That'll take place inside the restaurant here at Service Place, so hopefully there's a strong signal in there. I'm currently using the Service Place guest Wi-Fi, which seems to be giving me a good strong signal. I was on the Shaw Open, but I was having problems with Shaw at home this evening, so I don't know if Shaw's got some problems happening tonight due to the cold. It was reading minus 30 degrees Celsius on the way here. So the numbers are a little smaller tonight, mostly due to that. There's almost nobody here playing basketball over on the other side. Usually there's quite a few kids here for that. The cold weather will keep people at home. I probably won't give you too much commentary tonight. And if we cut in and out, sorry about that. I said tonight's a little bit about experimenting. I did make up a quick and dirty, I gotta get better at this, little movie, just to have some different graphic animation. Again, that was just maybe half an hour's work fiddling, learning the software as I go. So maybe only about 20 kids here tonight. A little busier on that end of the field. So this video is supplied by iPhone. Just hooked up via USB and a special driver on the Mac to recognize it as a webcam. And in order to get that user interface free screenshot from the iPhone, I use a free software app called Wirecast Go. The Canon is hooked up via a Blackmagic Ultra Studio mini recorder, which converts the HDMI signal into a, in this case, Lightning port. It can be hooked up via USB as well if you buy the right kind of mini recorder. So that's what enables me to get the video feed off of the camcorder, which you're looking at now. And this one's back to the iPhone. I do have a third camera, which I don't use very often because it shows me. And I don't really like showing me, so we'll go back to the iPhone. So we can have 3 cameras running at once with the current setup. I'm using the OBS software, which is Open Broadcast software, or Open Broadcaster software. A little bit of a learning curve to get rolling with it, but once you get past that, and I'm just still using the basics, everything you see here is done live. All the graphics are either made on this computer or downloaded off the internet, and they're all transitioned live right here on this single laptop. It's a nearly 6-year-old MacBook Pro with an i7 processor. Right now I'm running at about 9.4% CPU usage. I am streaming this at 1080p and I am recording it at the same time. After my initial dropped frames due to the Shaw Open connection, it seems to be pretty strong so far with no dropped frames, and we're about 13 minutes into this broadcast. So the boys are just throwing all the sticks in the middle. They'll get split into teams and they'll start with just some scrimmaging. No clock, no whistles, no refs, just back and forth action and having some fun. So if you're interested in these drop-ins, you're more than welcome to come out. They're every Monday night, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and they're $10 per head. And there's more than just Crude players here. There's players from the GELC teams, some players from the minors. See, one of the goalies is wearing his Warriors gear. Well, I've done a quick split into teams and they'll get underway. That video quality on that one camera really looks bad. I don't know why. I know I've got the exposure cranked up a little bit on this one to try and so I'm just going to darken it a bit. That might improve the image quality. Of course, here at Service Place in St. Albert, where we are looking through black netting, which obstructs the view quite a bit, but there's no other place in here to shoot from. Yeah, I seem to have a real focusing issue here. I'm going to switch to automatic focus. Hopefully that improves things a little bit. So maybe my manual focusing is off. Again, you'll probably see some things that are blatant penalties, and there'll be a lack of face-offs. This is not the traditional way of playing box lacrosse, just for fun. A nice save made. I will call them the white team for lack of a better description. Still in possession. Backhanded try. If we were playing a serious game of lacrosse, we would not have those soccer nets open, as that's rather dangerous when you're at speed to have that potential of a corner back there. So again, this is not, it's not an official game, just a practice scrimmage. There's no scoring, there's no timekeeping. We'll just run until about 10 o'clock. And it'll be back and forth. The moment a goal is scored, the goalie will just pass it out to one of his teammates, and on we go. Oh, trying to go over top. White back in possession. Breakaway. Oh, and saved. Long pass up. Oh, off the post. Up off the netting. Normally that'd be a stoppage of play and a face-off, or a change of possession. But again, we're just back and forth, having fun. Oh, another post. Oh, another post. Okay, Black in possession. Oh, couldn't quite tell if that rolled in or not. That pass is interfered with, and Black back in possession, almost. Oh, still fighting for that one. There we go. Whoops, I'm not following the action. Practice my skills. It's been a while since I've had to film a game. So normally on this channel you'd be watching the Crude Junior B team. There's Tier 1 and Tier 2. They both play out of the Aikinsdale, or what I do believe now is going to be called the Jerome McGinley Arena here in St. Albert. Regular season won't start until April or May, I believe. Probably April. No schedule has been determined yet, of course. Draft will happen on Sunday, the 10th. Once teams are decided upon. There's a bit of the computer in the way there. I'll just move that a bit. Still no score. Not that I can keep track anyways. Oops, following the wrong guy. Long pass. Whoop. use the iPhone for a couple of minutes here. I just want to be able to go back and watch this video myself and check for video quality. We're still maintaining in excess of 6,000 kilobits per second. So it should be enough for high definition stream, but it is very quiet in here tonight. So I don't know if this is a true representation of what the bandwidth will be like during a normal evening when it's not 30 below. But we don't normally play games in here. If we do, they're not in this particular rink. They're over, I'm not sure of the name of the rink, but it doesn't have any netting up, so it's a much nicer view. I know my son has played there with the Beaumont Raiders in the GELC division. Pan down a bit here. There we go. Of course, I don't have any zoom control with the iPhone. It just becomes a simple camera, wide angle shot. Usually it's not too bad. Just about every live stream on this channel is done with this exact same configuration. I'm either using, well, I'm always using the iPhone and the Canon, and sometimes I use my Nikon SLR instead of the Canon, but that one gives a better quality image, but it's more of a pain in the butt getting it connected with the Ultra Studio. There's a goal for the Black. And away we go. Keep going. Let's fast forward. So everything on our channel, on the Crude Lacrosse TV channel, has been recorded with either the iPhone, the Canon, or a Nikon. And all of it is done through OBS for software, running on a MacBook Pro. So if you're looking at getting into streaming, just get in touch with me at one of the games and help your team get set up. I am by no means a professional, but I'll pass on what knowledge I have to help others get going. So again, with OBS, we can bring up things like our tickers. Now this ticker's out of date, but you can see how we can add graphics to the top of the screen. Follow the action here. This is not a Crude Junior 1 playoff game. As I say, this ticker, I'm just showing you some of the potential things you can do here. We'll turn this ticker off. It would be nice to have two cameras exactly the same. At least then your exposures and your color cast would look almost identical. In this case, you can see the colors are a little more vibrant on the iPhone, which you're looking at now, as opposed to the Canon. Canon's a little more muted, probably a little more accurate, but back to the iPhone. Right now I'm just running the Wi-Fi built into the computer, connected to the available Wi-Fi here, but OBS also provides the ability to record the live stream directly onto the computer, and that's what it's doing as well. That way it can be uploaded. If you are in a situation where you don't have a good Wi-Fi signal or a strong enough Wi-Fi signal to handle the bandwidth you need, at least then you can record and provide all your titling and imagery. You can do videos off the inside of the post. For microphone, right now I'm just using basically a set of Apple headphones with the built-in microphone. I find for what I'm doing here, it's currently good enough. I am looking at some other solutions for that. Normally I'd have to have the volume up and down on the microphone to try and cut out the background music and stuff that sometimes happens in the arenas. Here there's no music. The roar you're hearing, and there's another one off a post. The roar you're hearing is just, I've got some air handlers above me making quite a bit of noise. There is one person up in the stands and one other person watching, so there's like 2 spectators here. It's really quiet when it's minus 30. Of course, a couple of spectators down at ground level. Hopefully with this, if it comes out as 1080p, hopefully there's a few less jitters. I think it's still only running at 30 frames per second. So you're going to see a little bit of jumps. There's not quite enough bandwidth and to run at 60 frames per second, although a little experimenting might be in order. See if we can get zoomed in a little here on the action without focusing on the net. Oh, nice goal. So it's at least a 1-1 tie. Not that anybody's keeping track. And I don't think I'm keeping track either. Normally I would pull up scoring. We do that with, again, this is from an old game or the last time I used it. That just pulls up the scores. You can adjust those. It reads that data from text files on the computer and you just edit them on the go and it'll change the graphics for you automatically. So like if I change the home team here to Drop-In, for instance, follow the action, you can see that's changed right away. So for those looking to get into video for their own club or their own child's team, it's not that hard. If you already have the computer, your equipment can consist of pretty much just an iPhone or an Android phone. It doesn't have to be an iPhone. Oops. Tripod, something to hold the computer, and the free OBS software. Quite a few hours invested in getting it set up and learning how it works. And away you go. Now, if you want to hook up a standard high-definition video camera, then you're going to require a bit of investment both in the camera, but if you've already got that camera, as long as it's got an HDMI out, you can pick yourself up around a $200 to $300 audio-video HDMI converter, which will convert an HDMI signal into something the computer can understand, and that's where your second camera can come from. Or if you don't want to use an iPhone or a cell phone, then you can just use that one camera, but that would require a bit of an investment, not a whole lot. Nice thing about something like this Ultra Studio Mini recorder is you could actually use it to, say, convert old home videos to your computer if you wished. OBS could even help you with that. OBS does not need to live stream. You can use it to record your pod or your video casts. You can become a YouTube star if you wanted. A lot of them use OBS, both for live streaming and for recording. I try to keep my workflow is relatively simple because I'm usually always doing it by myself. So I'm working 2 cameras, the computer. I've got a Elgato Stream Deck just to make it easier to change between scenes, although you're not seeing a lot of scene switching going on right now. But oh, there's a goal. During a game, I'd bring up the schedule. I'd bring up tickers to say in between periods. I usually always stream to YouTube. It's a free service available to anyone. There are pay services available at varying qualities and at varying prices. But if you're a minor lacrosse association trying to stream your child's games or your club's games, it can get very expensive streaming every game to a pay-for service, especially if you have to pay for the viewing of those games. YouTube provides all that for free, providing you're not putting any copyrighted music into your videos. YouTube will not insert commercials. You have to get to a certain number of subscribers and then opt into their program before you can take part in earning money from the channel. And that's not the intent here. This is just to provide those that can't make it to the game something to watch. Provides the coaches something to look back on, or even the players something to look back on. Part of the reason I stream games, I started with my son's games a little over a year ago, or just about a year ago, using Facebook. You can stream with one camera, basically your iPhone, directly to YouTube or to Facebook if you wished, but that doesn't give you the ability to add scores or graphics or multiple cameras, and the quality of streaming to Facebook is not the greatest. It's at 1270 by 720, which just about every video we have on the channel is at 1270 by 720. But Facebook provides a lot of compression on their video, so there's a lot of degradation of the signal. But it is a service available to you if you're looking to get online really quickly with a minimal equipment. I would just recommend you get a tripod and something to hold your phone, and you can stream to Facebook with a 1-camera setup. You don't want to be holding your camera the whole game long though, so get yourself a tripod and some kind of an adapter to hold the phone. And a power supply, because streaming via your phone directly to Facebook or directly to YouTube will suck up a lot of battery, and you don't want it dying in the middle of your stream, so buy yourself a little battery pack. My first few games were done like that. Basically a tripod, an iPhone, and a battery pack. And I would stream live to Facebook or live to YouTube, just using the built-in microphone in the iPhone. And that's your minimal equipment required. So you're looking at maybe $30, $40 for a tripod and $20 or $30 for a battery pack, and everything else you probably already own. So this is back over to the Canon. This is the small camcorder, about a $250 camcorder at Costco. It's got image stabilization built in, which helps with the jitters. You don't want to make too fast of a pan though. This is on a tripod, just so I can leave it in one position. There's a nice goal. Just so I can leave it in one position when I need to. But otherwise I just put my hand on it and pan it. Try to keep up with the action. You don't want to be zoomed in too close because you make your audience sick trying to keep up with the action. It is a 30 times optical zoom, so let me show you up close here. You can get in pretty close on the goalie there, but it becomes really difficult to keep somebody in the frame. So we'll zoom back out a little bit. That one got in behind him. Oh, that's full wide angle on that particular camera. Tegan taking a few hits down there. Okay, back over to the iPhone. And I'm gonna take the scores off. And then I push that transition through. There, the scores disappear now. Again, this game is just for fun. They just scrimmage for 45 minutes on these drop-ins. Again, these drop-ins are every Monday night, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and they're open to, I believe, midgets and up. And they're $10 if you want to play. And it doesn't matter what team you're with, you're more than welcome to come out. Get a bit of exercise. Have a bit of fun. Stream still looks like it's holding up. They're 40 minutes in. We've not dropped a single frame since we've switched wireless. Everything, all the equipment that I'm using here to do this broadcast is all battery operated, although I am plugged in to power because the batteries on everything, the computer's getting a little long in the tooth, so the battery under the load probably wouldn't last an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but it's not worth taking the chance. So I leave everything plugged in, but if I do lose power with a tripped cord or anything like that, at least nothing should be lost because everything is battery operated, at least for a little while. If you are going to stream for your club, I do recommend 2 cameras, even if you don't use them all the time. Part of it is you're streaming a live event. What if you have a problem with 1 camera? At least you always have a second camera to fall back on. Even if, like a lot of times, I'm not using 2 cameras all the time, but it does give you the ability to switch scenes without so much panning. Probably the single biggest reason would be to use a higher quality camera than a cell phone. Cell phone images are pretty good, but with no ability to zoom, you're kind of very limited in what you can do. So this is the Canon right here. I'm just hand panning this on a little ball head on a tripod I've had for years, which I use for photography. I had to buy the camcorder itself because I never had one before, and the device that hooks it up to the computer. So in reality, that's about $450. as an investment if you don't already have the computer. Of course, if you don't have a computer, well, you're going to need one of those. You can try it with a $600 computer, but your success rate will be suspect. Switch back to the iPhone. There's not a lot of difference between the camcorder and the phone. Again, the difference comes when you need to zoom in. Or use some of the other special features potentially of your camcorder. And of course, camcorders come anywhere from maybe $150 to literally $10,000 if you wanted. If your club is looking for an investment, something around that $1,500 to $2,500 range will probably get you a very high quality camcorder, which will give you near broadcast quality. Just a change in goalie. I think there's 3 goalies here tonight. So goalies are welcome too. Got about another 20 minutes left. Still running right around 9.2%, 9.5% of CPU load right now. Oh, starting to drop. And we just lost it. You may not be able to hear me, but we have dropped. We suddenly had a drop out of the Wi-Fi signal. We're down to around 130 kilobits per second from 6,000 kilobits per second. So needless to say, I've got a big red light staring at me, and we're dropping about 4% of our frames so far, but I don't think anything is getting through right at the moment, so I'm just switching Wi-Fis to try and find a signal. I don't know if this is weather related or if it's something to do with my configuration. Don't seem to be able to find a signal at the moment. This is still being recorded, so if you are hearing me right now, you're probably listening to the recorded version. I don't know if I will upload this to the channel. I'll just live with the drop signal here, as we're down to 0. We've totally lost everything. Now, if your club does have the cash, you could stream via cellular. You'd have to do the math on how much that'll cost you and how many gigabytes of data you're sending, and of course the higher your resolution you're trying to stream with. The more data that's going to cost you. Okay, we've cranked back up. Oh, we were up. We've lost it again. Okay, I've got a green light. It's gone yellow again on me already. So we're definitely having some connection problems. I'll try switching to a lower bandwidth. A static screen. Okay, it looks like our signal strength has come up a little bit. We're currently running around 4,000 kilobits per second, but I am obviously streaming just a graphic, which doesn't change, so it compresses relatively easily. We will turn the iPhone back on right now and see where we're at, and we went red right away. I'm having a difficult time here. Let's switch back. Try the movie, see if that improves things. So I have dropped the signal. We got about 12 minutes left. I'll continue to keep playing with it here and see if we can salvage something out of this. My apologies if you're trying to watch. It's really having some difficulty. This is on the Shaw Open. I'll switch to the service place. Oops. Service place guest, which is not even showing up anymore, so maybe they shut it off for the night. There we go, service place Wi-Fi. I'm getting a mixed signal on this. So again, right now, just gone green for a sec, so something might be coming through. At worst, it might be just the audio. So if you can hear me, we're having some difficulties connecting here tonight. I am recording this, so I will probably re-upload the recorded video after, so you can listen to me complain about this Wi-Fi quality. Last season, when I was first getting going and we were in here practicing, I was down on the floor and we had lots of connection problems. We were here last weekend. I'm about 10 feet away from where I was set up last week, and we recorded and streamed the combine for 4 hours and never had a single drop signal. So I thought maybe the Wi-Fi was fixed in here. So I'm not sure if this is cold related and if they're just having connection problems to the outside world due to the cold. But right now, nothing is getting through. It's attempting to reconnect. This is where, to prevent this kind of problem on an important live stream, you would require a cellular signal. Some companies offer multiple cellular signals for redundancy and higher bandwidth, but you'll pay a premium for that kind of service, both in the per K that you send out and in just the hardware needed to do that. But there is options available if you're dealing with a poor Wi-Fi signal. There is ways of getting a live signal out to the world. You're just going to pay for it. Since the only money I've invested in this, other than my time, is for a little bit of equipment, I like to keep the costs as low as possible. I just end up having to deal with the bad Wi-Fi and can only offer my apologies for the drop signals. Again, this is just a practice. There's a goal. It still has not been able to reconnect, so I think we've lost our connection to the outside world. Try switching one more time here. Seeing if we can get anything at all. Definitely having some difficulties. Switch to the internal Wi-Fi instead of the external Wi-Fi that I've been using. About another 8 minutes left. But it doesn't seem to matter which Wi-Fi antenna I'm using or which of the two Wi-Fi signals available to me I'm using. We have lost our connection to the World Wide Web. So this is being recorded, and that's what you're watching right now. I'm just going to take the iPhone off of the tripod, and that way I can show you the actual setup in case you're interested. Okay, so that's a handheld shot. There's the computer. This is the Elgato Stream Deck. Basically, it's just a device that allows me to configure it to set up the scenes. So by pressing these buttons, I switch cameras. I can turn the music on and off. There's the music on, music off. Turn the microphone back on, turn it off. Turn it back on. It's just easier than maneuvering the mouse to try and go over here and hit these buttons to turn the microphone on. Turn it back on. Or transition the scene up here. I'll go back to the iPhone. So that's what the OBS software looks like running on this particular computer. I'll just drop that down a bit. Basically, things are just plugged in. That's the tripod that normally holds the iPhone. I got a tripod over here that holds the Canon. It's just a simple DJ stand. That way, and with a wooden top. Everything's connected to the wooden top. There's the Ultra Studio Mini recorder. That's where the Canon comes in from. It's connected via Lightning. You can buy USB versions of those. and hook them up to your PC. If you don't have a lightning port, you can hook it up to USB 3. The Stream Deck just hooks up via USB. I just got a small hub here. That hub also contains the cellular signal, which looks like some uprights. That's just, of course, try and find a better signal. We still have a completely dropped signal right here, right now, so nothing is getting through. Just a couple of minutes left on the clock up there. It's 9:56 local time. So you wouldn't want to have to stream a game holding this by hand the whole time. I'm only a couple of minutes into it and it's already tiring. So what I'll do is this is just a simple little clamp device that holds the phone. And there we go. Now we're back on there. That makes it easier for your viewing public. I accidentally moved that screen a little bit. There we go. Transition back over to the other camera. So if your club is in the Edmonton area, just keep track of the Crude Lacrosse channel. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and be notified of when we go live or when new videos are posted. And come hit me up. As long as I'm not talking on the microphone, we can probably get a little bit of communication happening. At least you can watch and see how things work. It only seems complicated. When I first started, it was just a single camera, and then you just keep adding pieces. As you get comfortable with one, you just keep adding more and more things. Start adding the tickers, the score clock, or the score. There is a company that offers a piece of software that runs only on Windows, and it requires a camera staring at the time clock, but it can actually OCR read the time clock and output that as a text file. So I'm hoping I can, with another computer, get to the point where I can have a camera dedicated to looking at the scoreboard, and therefore bring in live timing. So you have an on-screen timer just like the pros do, hopefully with the shot clock as well. And that's a pretty cool piece of software. The name escapes me at the moment. I've just got it as a beta version right now. I'm not sure what the cost of that particular piece of software will be, or if it'll even work. But it is a little nifty piece of kit. Now I know from where I was filming at the Jerome McGinley Arena, I'd have to reposition my camera because the scoreboard is ever so slightly cut off from my viewpoint there, just due to the banners and the heaters that are hanging in the roof of that building. So of course you have to have a line of sight to be able to make that work, in addition to all the other problems. Now the guy that makes that software, it's a rather high bandwidth piece of software, so I'm not sure how well a computer would handle OBS and that particular piece of software at the same time. So that's a problem yet to be solved and yet to be experimented with. We're just about done here. Live stream cut off about maybe 15-20 minutes ago. It has not reconnected since. So what you're watching now is just what I recorded at the time. All the time in the world, there we go. And these drop-ins run every Monday night, 9 to 10 o'clock. You're more than welcome to come out. It's $10 a head. Go Goalies are welcome. Come out, get in a little practice. Without really running drills, they do a little bit of shooting at the beginning, but otherwise it's just a 45-minute long scrimmage with no whistles. Numbers are a little quiet tonight due to the cold. Oh, even if you are going to go with a one-camera setup, just using your cell phone, please make sure you get a tripod. Something to hold things steady. Preferably something with a fluid head. You don't have to spend huge dollars on a fluid head. You're not holding a lot of weight. Fluid head just makes those motions a little smoother, a little less abrupt, a little less jerky. You can stream directly from your phone to either Facebook or YouTube. But I do recommend you get a computer involved and check out the OBS software. That will give you a lot more versatility. It'll give you the ability to run multiple cameras, or at least the ability to bring up graphics to hide your camera movements if you need to, or to allow you to recompose the camera and make it look like you have a multi-camera setup even though you're only using one camera. I'm currently set up with 3 cameras, one built into the computer, one hooked up like a webcam, and one hooked up via the Blackmagic Ultra Studio mini recorder. So other than your cameras and your computer, that's your one piece of kit you would need to bring an HDMI signal into your computer. That also supports an SD cable, which is basically another type of video cable, but it allows you to get a 300-foot run of cable, I believe. HDMI is usually limited to around 50 feet. But of course, if you had a 50-foot cable and stretched that out, I wouldn't be able to run that camera and the computer at the same time. So I don't really have the need. I keep both cameras within arm's reach because I operate them myself. Whoop, lost the ball there. Ladies are welcome. This drop-in is pretty much for anyone. There's junior players here, midget players. And we're pretty much calling it right now. Most of the guys are leaving the floor. Some just want to keep playing though. Okay, thanks for tuning in. If you did follow through on the whole video, I will re-upload this video so that you can get the whole thing, since we lost our signal during the evening here. I'm going to blame it on the cold. Yeah, it's just gone totally dead on us. So again, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you picked up a few tidbits. Come hit me up at one of the live broadcasts, or send me a message on the Crude Lacrosse channel, and we'll see if we can help you out, get you set up. The more lacrosse on YouTube, the more the game grows. So have a good night. Thank you.